So I'm sure you've heard about the term compound interest before, but you don't really see it too frequently affiliated with real estate investing. Today's video, I'm going to be breaking down some unfair advantages that you as a real estate investor are going to be getting that are very, very similar. Actually, honestly, full disclosure here, they're actually a lot better than compound interest from the stock market and your 401k, IRA, all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be breaking down those awesome secrets that people just aren't talking about enough. Make real estate investing such an unfair advantage, leveraging a compound interest scenario. So stay tuned on this. My name is Sean McIntyre. I'm the house hacking realtor of Northern New Jersey, and I make house hacking easy for people like you looking at the financial freedom. I'm here to share the secrets, teach the strategies, so you don't have to pay that stupid tax that I originally had to pay when I was learning the hard way through trial and error. That puts you on the fast path to all your real estate investing goals in Northern New Jersey. So yeah, compound interest. I'm sure you've heard about it in the stock market. And what do they say? That's one of the most unfair advantages you get with the stock market is you put a little bit of money in, over time it grows and grows, then it compounds. If you're putting $5,000 into an IRA for 10 years, it compounds more than if you put $5,000 into an IRA over 30 years because of the compounding growth. All right. So at the end of the day here, guess what? Real estate investing has similar strategies that are ridiculously unfair, and it's very similar to a compound interest, but people just don't talk about it enough. Obviously, I heard about things like appreciation. That's great. Well, guess what? Appreciation works in more ways than one. I'm going to be going over that in today's video, and then on the taxes and all that kind of stuff. So you're going to want to stick around to the end so you hear it all. Don't want to miss any of it, but let's dive right into it. So look, you buy a property and it naturally appreciates. That's great. You can't beat that. Sort of like a stock market right there. But that's really like the apples to apples comparison. The stock market appreciates, it's supposed to. Your house, the real estate, is supposed to appreciate. Okay, so let's say that it's all happening nicely, like it's done historically over the years, and things are appreciating at a nice percentage. Okay, cool. That's wonderful. A little bit of growth over time, 5% every year on top of 5%, getting that awesome growth. Can't complain there. But guess what? That doesn't have to stop there. There's ways of compound, maybe even compound interest. I mean, it's even compounding of compounding. Is that even a thing? Maybe I'm coming up with a new term here. Okay, why don't you drop a comment below if you're calling me crazy here. But guess what? There are ways to compound. I don't know how many compounds we can say, but it's happening here in real estate. And that's where it comes to tax implications, increases in rents, all that kind of stuff. So let's say you go and you buy a duplex here. Get the natural appreciation, goes up, bam. But something I love, and this was so great about Northern New Jersey that makes our state so spectacular, is you look at places maybe like the Midwest where they're so crazy on cash flow. They're like, oh, you can cash flow here on day one. Like, yeah, that's great, wonderful. Have that cash flow on day one. Maybe get $300 in cash flow. But something that they don't really talk about these Midwestern states and the appreciation that happens there is year-over-year returns. Okay, something that you get in New Jersey is appreciation on the rental side of things. Meaning, maybe you're breaking even on day one in New Jersey, but next year, what does a $100 rent increase look like? A $200 rent increase. I kid you not, I've got properties where I've raised rent $500 on a duplex on both units, which is just wild, jaw-dropping return on investment. Okay, so something that is so unfair about our state is that we get awesome compound rental increases. Okay, so that's like a compound interest effect here because you're getting significant increase in rent, not just on the appreciation of the property, appreciation on rents themselves. You see me going at this with my hands, you notice I'm driving. Don't worry, I'm in my Tesla doing autopilot, very safe right here, going on to my next appointment, which is actually a listing of awesome multifamily coming on the market soon. But yeah, that's what I'm doing, so don't panic, and if you're panicked, then just drop a comment below, tell me I'm crazy or something. I don't care. But compound interest happens in real estate investing because the rental increases you see in a place like New Jersey are really impressive. Okay, you don't really see that in a lot of other markets. That's probably why places claim to get high cash flow. But here, let's imagine, 1 year to the next, rent's going up just a couple $100 a month is an absolute game changer. Okay. Another thing here that you're not really hearing too frequently or frequently enough is the tax advantages. So when you're looking at a property, and sometimes you see this very common, you can buy like a turnkey or maybe a little value add type property and be at a break even type point in New Jersey. Now look, if you're doing a substantial value add where you're forcing appreciation into the property, you can see very, very, very high rent increases, very, very high appreciation. But let's just say we're doing a middle of the pack, a nice average kind of maybe turnkey, slight value add property, you see some appreciation, not bad. Let's say you're breaking even on that property day one. Okay, cool, awesome position. Now, like I said, next year you get a little rent increase, year after that rent increase, but something you're gonna get that first year, awesome tax advantage. You really don't see in the stock market nearly as much as you see in real estate investing. Matter of fact, in the stock market, you might actually get hit with your taxes year over year, especially if you're cashing out that money. But for someone like myself, I really don't pay many taxes on the rental income that's coming in, which is great. So that money is free money essentially coming back to me. And then whatever the rent is on that, you get to depreciate it and all that kind of stuff. So let's say you have maybe a break-even type property, have a W-2 job, good chance you're paying that 30% or so to the W-2 on the taxes. But now the rental property can come into play and you're gonna be able to be in a more powerful position with your taxes. So maybe let's say, making up numbers here, obviously it's always gonna be a conversation with your CPA, disclosure, you wanna always talk to them, but there are significant ways of keeping more money in your pocket. Even if you have a W-2 job and you have that rental income, let's say you're paying $30,000 a year at the taxes, reduce that substantially by owning a rental property. So maybe you're breaking even every single month, but at the end of the year, the tax advantages gives you a nice chunk of change back, which is awesome. I've seen that. A really good example I can attest to is the very first time I did my taxes on a rental property, I ended up doing TurboTax, and here's a huge quick tip, so just pay attention please. I used TurboTax or one of those national entities. I ended up having to pay a couple $100, maybe $1,000. At the end of the day, I got my taxes done and I ended up getting money back. So I went from having to owe money to getting thousands of dollars back in my pocket, making a difference of something $8,000 because I did my taxes different and I hired a professional. You always got to keep in mind, here's the tip, that when you do the taxes online, it's just an algorithm. The algorithm doesn't know to ask specific questions that make things favorable for you for appreciating against your property, you know, what you use, what you qualify as a business, all these little things that a professional CPA will know. Now look, if you have a standard W-2 job, whatever, maybe you TurboTax, that's fine, get away with it. But when you start owning rental properties, you really want to leverage the tax code in a favorable way so you get this compounding effect. So now on top of things where, you know, we're making a little bit of money and you get, you know, essentially an $8,000 difference at the end of the year, that's a huge difference compared to having to owe money. So really, really awesome advantage you're going to get with real estate investing that I've never had with owning stock and all that kind of stuff. So awesome tip there. So there's a lot of really cool things you can do here now to get to that compounding effect from the appreciation, natural appreciation of the property, the appreciation of rent, and the tax advantages. That's why I love, say, investing, especially in a place like Northern New Jersey, where we are heavy on the appreciation and more so than other states. So if you want to learn a little bit more about how you can buy an investment property, why don't you reach out, shoot me a text anytime, any day. It doesn't make a difference whether it's 2 a.m. or 5 in the afternoon. It doesn't make a difference. 973-221-9131. Text me directly. I'll get back to you. We're always happy to hop on a call so we can map out a plan that's specific to your needs so I can get you compounding, because I want to get you on your financial goal. I want to see you get the tax advantages. I don't want to see you struggle the rest of your life and work for someone else. I want to get you away from all that stuff. Whatever your goals are, that's where we have a one-on-one conversation so we can get you compounding in some awesome house hacks, properties in New Jersey. But let's see you on the next video, okay? The one that's right here. This can be official, especially if you want a house hack and financial freedom.